high, and it means that the system has still got some growth to do before it gets here later on this evening. So new this morning, we had a winter storm warning issued. It's not in effect yet. It technically starts this evening at 7 p.m. But everybody in the pink counties, which I know you're kind of looking at a screen, it's kind of small. So this goes to Boone, Kenton, and Campbell counties, along with Switzerland and Ohio County. And then everybody there to the north, it also goes over to Claremont and Clinton counties. For everybody else in the tri-state area, we are in the winter weather advisory. But to be completely honest, which y'all know what I do, I love to just spell it out and be honest with you and not sugarcoat it or honestly hype it. I try not to. I don't care where you live, the roads are going to be difficult across the tri-state, regardless if you get 1 to 2 inches of snowfall or 2 to 5 inches of snowfall, or maybe you're on that higher end of things. The roads will be difficult, and it's because of the intensity of snow that we get, the whiteout conditions that are possible, and then everybody gets into the dangerous wind chills as we go into Friday morning. So let's talk timing. That's what it really comes down to, and I'm just going to walk you through it hour by hour. For the rest of the morning, the early afternoon, we're just seeing this lifting warm front as it comes through, and we have seen some light rain out of it. We can handle rain. People are heading to the grocery store, getting things done, dealing with the rain. Then as we get, though, to around 6 to 7 p.m., and you'll see this on the radar out toward like Indianapolis or a little bit more toward the Louisville area. But by 6 o'clock, that leading edge of the front will be approaching our southeast Indiana counties. Could there still be a little wiggle on the timing and placement here? Absolutely. That's why we always encourage you to be watching the latest newscasts, see what's actively happening here across the tri-state. Chief Meteorologist Steve Raleigh is in this afternoon. You better believe that man is going to be following this very closely. So by 8:30, that line of rain will be into the metro area. So we're getting some precipitation, could even turn a little bit heavier at times, but the snow quickly starting to take over out in Indiana, like for Versailles and Batesville. And guys, when this starts for you, this isn't going to just be a little, it's kind of flurrying or it's kind of light snow. No, it is going to be a burst of snow. So your conditions will deteriorate earlier than everybody else's because like a lot of our systems, they progress from west to east across the tri-state. In the metro, though, around 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 p.m., we're going to go from a period of a kind of heavy rain switching over to a very heavy snowfall. And it's at that same time, you can see the wind lines that I have drawn here on the screen. There'll be a strong south wind. It's going to abruptly shift to a west wind, and it'll be coming in at like 30 to 40 miles per hour, gusting almost as high as 50 miles per hour. So you couple high winds with heavy snowfall, and what do you think that means? Low visibility, your whiteout conditions. So it will happen almost immediately when that switchover starts to happen, and it's going to cause issues on the roads because this is going to stick very fast as temperatures just plummet later on tonight. So that's 10 p.m. with it arriving into Cincinnati. Your travel conditions will already be turning poor, if not difficult already in southeast Indiana at that point. Let's go forward to 11:30. Check this out. So quickly progressing to the east in that hour's time, getting out of the city, getting all the way out to Hillsborough, West Union, Wilmington. You will have made that switch over as well. Everybody pretty much at that point dealing with the very heavy snowfall, the whiteout conditions. So like a full hour of it, at least in the city of Cincinnati, probably 2 to 3 hours of near whiteout conditions. And then that snow intensity is going to drop because as this continues to go to the east, 1 a.m. in the morning, the big focus of the heaviest snow is from Middletown to Lebanon, Wilmington, Hillsborough, and West Union. Your intensity starting to drop in the city, but still not done. In Indiana, you'll be kind of dropping down in your snow intensity, and same thing down into portions of Kentucky. But it's still going to be a problem. You're still going to have those very high winds as the temperatures aggressively drop. By 3, 4, and then 5 o'clock in the morning, we have just a little bit of snow that's left here in the tri-state in our very northeastern spots. That's when we'll be back on the air again. We're actually going on tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. to start getting on top of this. I mean, we'll be covering it throughout the night no matter what, but getting back on the air again to show you, okay, how bad was the snow? Did we get what we expected? What has that meant for travel? And honestly, it'll be a roll up of just kind of trying to figure out where are accidents, where do we have roads closed, because as you know, these things happen in the tri-state. We get a bunch of accidents, we have a bunch of problems, and then we have to obviously get those things cleared up and get things moving again. Is this an event that when you wake up on Friday morning that makes the road impassable? I would say no. But I don't think it's going to be easy when we wake up on Friday morning. Yes, the snowfall will be done. The wind is still going to be gnarly. It's going to feel like it's negative 30 to 35 degrees outside. Like, it's not going to be comfortable. Actually be dangerous to be outside at times. But the amount of snow, I mean, it will have blown and drifted around with the high winds in the good chunk, the heart of the tri-state, the central portion of our viewing area stretching from Wilmington down through Cincinnati all the way down to Owenston. We're probably in that 2 to 5 inch range of snowfall. A little bit higher amounts getting out into Indiana, potentially 3 to 7 inches of snow there, and lesser amounts as you get into our very eastern spots. But lesser doesn't mean that you won't also have your own travel issues. I expect all locations to see something on the roads first thing Friday morning, granted no longer falling, but the impact will be there on travel. You also have to consider that as this falls, you had rain first, you have a plummeting temperature, and then you put snow on top of it. So the rain freezes, get a layer of ice, and then you get the snow on top of it. We call it flash freeze. It doesn't happen very often, but when the temperature drops 40 degrees in less than 12 hours, it can happen. Now, I mentioned the visibility issues with whiteout conditions as we go later into this evening. And we have a product that actually shows us the future view visibility of any system. We use this a lot really more for fog forecasting than anything, but it is also applicable when you talk about snow forecasting, because the intensity of snow would also reduce visibility, which can be tracked. So you can see by 11 p.m., visibilities are down to a quarter mile for a lot of the tri-state. And you think about a foggy morning, like that can slow things down. Think about it being snow with wind that is pushing against your vehicle, and you have snow-covered roads. Like, that's not a great combination in any way, shape, or form. Those visibility concerns are going to continue through midnight. I mean, easily in the city, getting down to very low visibility, like out in Brown County, down to like 0.1, so a tenth of a mile. Like, just that's not great. And then that would continue as the system continues to lift to the northeast and clear our area. So we have a myriad of issues. There's no doubt about that. My personal advice for you, we'll just go here for a second. If you don't have to be on the road, let's say from, we'll go 7 p.m. That's the start of the winter storm warning. But if you're really needing to get things done, call it 8, and then we need to call it a day, especially if you're in the city. I would stay off the roads from 8 p.m. to about 4 a.m. That gets you through the worst of the heavy snow coming down, the high winds that will accompany it, and the whiteout conditions. It also then accounts for trying to get some road crews out there to get some of this cleaned up. Main interstates are going to be attacked first by the snow crews. Then we'll get into main arteries in cities. Then you'll get to your main highways. Then you're going to get to side streets eventually on Friday. But we will be able to travel on Friday. It's just keeping those roads clear of vehicles, clear of accidents, so that ODOT, NDOT, and KYTC can do their jobs. And obviously, if you're not a great snow driver, just don't. This is not the one to test your skills in. I would wait for something slower paced later on this winter, because this is not the system. Because let's say you do go out, you do get an accident, and you're stuck out there in these conditions. The wind chills are going to become dangerous as we head into the early morning hours of Friday. A wind chill warning, which we don't get a lot of these. Wind chill warning will be issued here in the tri-state. It has been issued. It starts at 1 o'clock in the morning and it will go until Saturday morning. The wind chill is going to range from negative 30 to almost negative 40 on Friday morning and throughout much of Friday's forecast. This is Future View wind chill, just showing and depicting what the models are showing for Friday morning. Negative 30 in Cincinnati, negative 37 in Connorsville at 7 a.m., negative 38 in Dry Ridge. These are not conditions that we see but once or twice every 7 to 10 years. Like this is not something that you can be like, oh yeah, I remember what it was like when it was negative 35. Like, no, we don't fully grasp the pain that is this cold of an air temperature and a wind chill. The last time I covered temperatures like this, I was living in the Indianapolis area before I worked here. So I've been here 8 years. It's been 8 years since we've had anything like this pop up on the maps. I remember the biting pain of, I'm an asthmatic. I remember the biting pain of what it did to my lungs. It literally took my breath away. It was that cold. It was that just jarring to the body. And right now, so many people here in the tri-state are dealing with the flu, RSV, respiratory colds. don't combine that with going outside. It's just not worth it. It is going to be painful. If you are somebody who has general respiratory issues or you are an asthmatic, obviously grab the inhaler, be ready to go, because this hurts. It also can bring about frostbite if you're out there too long. I mean, it could take 10 minutes or less for frostbite to set in when you have conditions like this. Friday in the afternoon, as the temperature rises to 5, it's going to feel like -20 to -25. So like it's never really going to feel better outside. It is never going to feel comfortable outside on Friday. And that's why Friday all day, we're doing the weather alert day for really the extreme cold. Now, will you be able to drive and travel on Friday? Absolutely. Be patient. Give it time. If you have to be out Friday, do it more in the afternoon and the evening. If you can hold until Saturday, the road conditions are going to get so much better on Saturday, but we're still going to have some problems out on rural roads, residential roads, side streets. It's going to take time to get all this snow not only kind of moved and treated, but the continued winds are going to still give us periods where there's blowing and drifting, and it goes right back on the surfaces that just got cleared off. So that, of course, is problematic as well. I have a friend here in the studio today, Kristen Swilley. She's been hanging out here behind me. I'm going to pull you in here, my friend. Come in, because she is such a pulse of the people. She'll tell me about going to the grocery store and the questions that she gets asked. Come on over here if you don't mind.
Of course.
And she's not mic'd, so you'll have to just get close to me.
Yes.
Sorry
I
about
actually
that.
am mic'd. I got it all figured out.
I don't know if they have it queued up back there, so I will
okay.
let you know if it gets turned on or not.
For sure.
Oh, you are on. Fantastic. Okay, so you're a great pulse of the people.
Yeah, I like to think so. Thanks, Jen.
You are. So what are the big questions that people are asking that you're hearing, and is there anything I didn't cover?
Well, I think a lot of people, they want to be proactive, right? We want
Yes.
to try and, do what we can ahead of this whole thing or during it or whatever else. First of all, is it worth it to pre-treat? Is there ever going to be any time frame that works for people that makes it worth it?
So brine is down on a lot of roads, and some people are putting down salt in their driveways. There is that flash freeze potential as we go from the rain to the snow. The rain window is so narrow that the salt should still be there in your driveway. So if you think that maybe that'll help a little bit, and it may, throw it down and see what happens. But the snow that'll come down on top of it and the rapid temperature drop, it'll make the salt not as effective. Because once we get down to like 10, salt becomes less and less effective. And then once you get down to 0, it's pretty much not effective. So if you want to throw it down and try to mitigate some of those issues, it'll help a little bit, but it's not going to solve your problems.
Absolutely. And of course, another thing too is people want to know from your perspective, okay, what's the worst part of this? They're worried about ice. Obviously, people hate, and they should,
gosh, yes.
hate driving potentially on ice, snow, the wind. If there's one element of this that's really sort of the worst part.
I would say tonight, 9 p.m. to midnight is where it really goes from, oh, it's starting to snow, to, oh my God, it's snowing. Like that's going to be the gut check moment for people, and that people that do decide to go out on the roads, many are going to be caught off guard. Many are not going to be prepared for this, or they're going to be kind of overwhelmed by the low visibility, the high winds, because the wind gusts with this. Imagine being in your vehicle. You have some traction, not great traction, because of the snow and a little bit of ice below it. And then all of a sudden you get a wind gust at 50 miles per hour to push you. It's not a good combination, folks. So my stay off the road time, I would say 8 p.m. at the latest. Get off the roads, get back home, and then wait until the sun rises on Friday morning.
Sure.
Which is sleeping time. Let's sleep tonight.
Yeah,
Can we do
absolutely.
this?
And hopefully people are off work. We're working.
But I know we have our law enforcement professionals.
Yeah.
We have people who work in our hospital systems. They have to get there. Talk to your bosses about maybe being put up in a hotel for the night, or going in early and finding a cot to sleep on at your work. I mean, I know our team is proactively changing our sleeping arrangements for tonight, so we're closer to the station, because it will be dicey overnight.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we'll be on, as you've mentioned, early at 4. We'll be on throughout a little bit later on as well, too. So, yeah, I mean, those are really sort of the big questions. Is what can I possibly do to prepare? We just want to feel in control when we can. And they really, just also want to be safe out there as well. Again, that timeline for people. Everyone keeps asking, no matter how much you say it.
Yes.
Run us through it one more time.
Okay, Kristen, you're fantastic. I love it. I'm surprised the first question you asked wasn't how much snow are we getting?
Oh.
That's typically the question I get asked more anything. I'm going to ask you to take one step out, because this graphic.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Thank you, though. I'm directing my friends. I love it. Okay, so around 7, 8 p.m., there you see the line of rain here in the city. Then we switch over to snow around 9, 10, 10:30. That's where it goes from a little rain to some ice developing, and then aggressively you get snow on top of it. Visibility drops very fast. Your whiteout conditions start here. And then look at this, 11, midnight, it's what I call the no-go zone. Let's keep out of it, stay away from it. Still 1 o'clock in the morning, it's very difficult. And then by 2, 3, and 4 a.m., it starts to wrap up, but those high winds are still quite problematic. You can come back in.
Oh, thank you so much.
Welcome back to the party.
Yes.
So yes, our team later on this evening, I mean, Steve's in tonight. Our crews will be watching this, and we have an 11 o'clock newscast at the time that some of the worst of this is happening.
Right.
So we'll have those visuals for you so you can see how this is unfolding. We've got a bunch of cameras set up to record overnight to show the time lapse of how bad the snow is, the low visibility, and then we hit the air tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. to just dive into it and see, number one, like, okay, where was the heaviest? How are the winds? How bad are the wind chills? And then kind of watch that traffic pattern unfold throughout the day, because as you and I both know, takes one accident.
Oh, absolutely. And it's just messing everyone up. And so we're going to have live drive in multiple parts of the tri-state too, literally showing that for you, all of you guys in real time. So you'll have an idea. Again, if you have to get out, we know, again, essential workers have to. But I know a lot of people are just going to be making that last minute trip to Kroger or the mall or whatever
Wait for Friday afternoon.
Yeah, Friday afternoon if you can.
Yeah.
And then we'll be showing what you can expect if you do have to get out there in the morning as well.
Kristen, thank you so much. And thank you for all of you for tuning in here on our live stream, our website, Facebook, also YouTube. I'll get to some of your questions once we finish the broadcast here, but have a good day today. Be prepared for later on tonight, and most importantly, keep you and your family safe in the overnight hours as we get through this latest 9 First Warning Weather Alert Day.